Dear YouTubers, welcome to a new short story and a lesson to be learned. So please fasten your mind belts and get ready with us. Here we go, dear YouTubers, with a clever dog. A butcher watching over his shop is really surprised when he saw a dog coming inside the shop. He shoos him away, but later the dog is back again. So he goes over to the dog and notices he has a note in his mouth. He takes the note and it reads, "Can I have 12 sausages and a leg of lamb, please?" The dog has money in his mouth as well. The butcher looks inside and lo and behold, there's a $10 note there. So he takes the money and puts the sausages and lamb in a bag, placing it in the dog's mouth. The butcher is so impressed, and since it's about closing time, he decides to shut up shop and follows the dog. So off he goes. The dog is walking down the street when he comes to a level crossing. The dog puts down the bag, jumps up and presses a button. Then he waits patiently, bag in mouth, for the lights to turn. They do, and he walks across the road with the butcher following him all the way. The dog then comes to a bus stop and starts looking at the timetable. The butcher is in awe at his stage. The dog checks out the times and then sits on one of the seats provided. Along comes a bus. The dog walks around to the front, looks at the number, and goes back to his seats. Another bus comes. Again the dog goes and looks at the number, notices it is the right bus, and climbs on. The butcher, by now open-mouthed, follows him onto the bus. The bus travels through the town and out into the suburbs, the dog looking at the scenery. Eventually he gets up and moves to the front of the bus. He stands on two back paws and pushes the button to stop the bus. Then he gets off, his groceries still in his mouth. Well, dog and butcher are walking along the road, and then the dog turns into a house. He walks up the path and drops the groceries on the step. Then he walks back down the path, takes a big run, and throws himself against the door. He goes back down the path, runs up to the door, and again he throws himself against it. There is no answer at the house, so the dog goes back down the path, jumps up on a narrow wall, and walks along the perimeter of the garden. He gets to the window and beats his head against it several times, walks back, jumps off, and waits at the door. The butcher watches as a big guy opens the door and starts abusing the dog, kicking him and punching him and swearing at him. The butcher runs up and stops the guy. "What in heaven's name are you doing? The dog is a genius. He could be on TV for the life of me." To which the guy responds, "You call this clever? This is the second time this week that this stupid dog has forgotten his key." It looks like some people will never be satisfied with what they've got. See you in a new short story. If you like this, please subscribe in my channel.